A man is sitting at home with the lights turned off, his face illuminated by the glare from the TV screen. This guy hasn't been outside in weeks. He's obsessed, you could say possessed, by a theory that a new world order is about to make a move and get rid of a significant amount of the population. He's suddenly taken aback by a strange image on the TV, which is a public service announcement being given by both the President of the United States and the Queen of England. Before they say anything, the two put their fingers up to their foreheads at the point of their hairlines, and in unison they pull down the skin from their faces, and it's revealed that they're both actually lizard people. "I knew it," thinks the guy. "We are your overlords," say the Queen and the President in tandem. "It's time you all knew the truth." We are guessing you guys think this is a ridiculous way to start a show, but polls have indeed revealed that something like 12 million American people believe we are ruled over by interstellar reptiles. These alien beings hiding in human suits are said to be the world's elite, and we, the general populace, are the slaves. Not everyone buys into the lizard theory, but a lot of people believe we are ruled by secret groups, such as an entity called the Illuminati and another entity called the Bilderberg Group. You don't have to be suffering from psychosis to believe this. There are a lot of rational people that think there are invisible hands pulling strings above our marionette heads. Today, we're going to take a look at these two entities, and at the end of the show, you can make up your own mind as to which organization controls the world, or if the groups are actually not as powerful as has been made out. You might also agree with our own surprising conclusion. Warning: this will not be an easy examination, but you're gonna gain some knowledge that we think will benefit you. No lizards were harmed in the making of this video. Okay, so it's no secret that there are organizations on this planet whose members are sometimes rich and powerful people. That is not a theory, it's a fact. These might be secretive, such as the Freemasons, or they might be round tables of influential people that talk about issues such as global warming. The conspiracy theorists believe that these elites are machinating to create what's called a new world order, which is basically a world run by them in a totalitarian way. It might involve population control or even mind control. We the people are what they might call the herd. We buy into what they tell us. This theory is not unique, and we certainly have been called herds before by powerful leaders and social scientists. The man sometimes called the father of public relations and propaganda, one Edward Bernays, did his bit to control the public. He believed that we, the masses, were irrational, but as people that acted like herds and couldn't think for themselves, we could easily be controlled. He proved his theory to be true, too. So that's how this new world order might take over, according to some conspiracy theorists. There are differing opinions, and it's a very complex subject. Some people think the world where we're heading might be fascistic in nature and will be controlled by a big brother world government in a totalitarian manner. A man called George Orwell once wrote about that. But the trend now seems more in line with a book written by a guy named Aldous Huxley. This writer penned something called Brave New World. It's different from Orwell's dystopia because we, the masses, will gladly accept our slavery. As they say in the tech world, we will opt in. Here's a snippet from the book. A really efficient totalitarian state would be one in which the all-powerful executive of political bosses and their army of managers control a population of slaves who do not have to be coerced because they love their servitude. We mention this because this is what conspiracy theorists are relating to when they talk about the New World Order and the elites that will rule over us. We need to be controlled, either through force and surveillance, a good amount of public relations, or technological applications that distract us from how fudged things have become. These elites are a multinational group, according to the conspiracy theorists. There is no national superpower, it's a collaborative effort. In fact, the us versus them dichotomy is just a distraction, so these elites can keep us in a constant state of stress, making us easier to control and harming our immune systems because our stress hormones fire up every time we go online. Okay, so who are these elite groups? We'll now introduce you to the Illuminati. The origins of the so-called present Illuminati comes from an entity known as the Bavarian Illuminati. This was founded by a professor in Bavaria in the 1800s. His name was Adam Weishaupt. And by the way, the actual word Illuminati comes from the Latin for revealed or enlightened. Did Weishaupt want to take over the world? Well, it doesn't seem so. He did indeed embrace the idea of secret societies. In his own words, he said that members of his Illuminati should endorse freedom from all religious prejudices. He also said his Illuminati cultivates the social virtues and animates them by a great, a feasible, and speedy prospect of universal happiness. Note the word universal. His secret society was supposed to make everyone happy, but the public weren't contacted about this. The general population was not intelligent enough to get in on the act of creating universal happiness. Getting into this society was similar to getting into the Freemasons. You need to have cash and some connections, although women, monks, Jews, and pagans were not allowed to join. Like the Freemasons, once you were in, you could climb the ranks. There were lots of ranks, and the highest rank was king. It was all very secret indeed, and members didn't even use their own names. When they communicated in writing, they used ciphers that most people wouldn't be able to solve. They had to write a lot, since the Illuminati had members all over Europe. The idea was that these people would increase their power but at the same time endorse enlightened ideas. This kind of enlightened absolutism was once summed up like this: everything for the people, nothing by the people. You might call that the trickle-down happiness theory. It's not far from the principles that Edward Bernays espoused, in that we, the masses, don't know what's good for us and need to be controlled with tools such as public relations and the media. Bavaria later banned this group, and it's thought that that was the end of the Illuminati. Or was it? Now for your introduction to the Bilderberg Group. Okay, so this group is not hidden in some respects, in that you can go to the Bilderberg's website and read about what they do, or what they claim to do, according to those people who believe something sinister lurks in the air when these people get together. They meet every year to discuss certain issues that face Europe and North America. The group says they only talk about the issues and no actions are taken after meetings. It's like a get-together for powerful people, they say, but there are no resolutions at the end. Which powerful people, you might ask? The list is long, so we can't mention everyone who turned up to the 2019 meeting. The attendees were mostly wealthy business people, bankers, and people high up in certain government departments. Some meetings have also included royalty. Quite a few academics were on the guest list too, such as the guy who's been warning us about super artificial intelligence, the director of the Future of Humanity Institute at Oxford University named Nick Bostrom. The governor of the Bank of England was there, as was a politician from the UK's Green Party. People who work for the US Office of the Secretary of Defense were also in the house, as were journalists and editors who work for well-known media, such as the Washington Post. Also in attendance were some of the CEOs of the world's biggest tech companies. So yes, if you were of a certain disposition to believe that a group wanted to control the populace, the herd, these would be the people who could do it. The attendees do in fact already control countries, since they head finance, government, and industry. They control the media, and they control how information gets to us via the internet. That's not a conspiracy theory though. Okay, so what did those powerful people talk about at the last meeting? Did they, say, discuss how to create a panic on a mass scale in order to convince the people of the world to opt in to mass surveillance technology? Did they discuss mass unemployment that could lead to political changes, lifelong debt, and possibly some population reduction? The answer is no. Here's a list of the discussion topics. Number 1. A stable strategic order. 2. What next for Europe? 3. Climate change and sustainability. 4. China. 5. Russia. 6. The future of capitalism. 7. Brexit. 8. The ethics of artificial intelligence. 9. The weaponization of social media. 10. The importance of space. And 11. Cyber threats. This was no secret. It was published by the Bilderberg Group on its website. But, and this is a big but, what happens at the Bilderberg meetings stays at the Bilderberg meetings. It's also not a conspiracy theory. The New York Times wrote in 2019 that the members heading to the 67th Bilderberg meeting in Switzerland had to promise that whatever was discussed would not get leaked. So just how good are those attendees at keeping their secrets? We wonder what happened when Secretary of State Mike Pompeo or Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella or Jared Kushner got home after the meeting. Was the scene similar to this? "Hey darling, how'd it go?" Reply, "You know I can't talk about it, honey." The first meeting was held in 1954 at the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands. And since then, some people have been decrying the event because they think those people already have too much power. The group itself says it's working for the greater good, but not everyone agrees with that. Some people have said these powerful people are secret kingmakers, while others have said they are globalists and have one mutual interest, and that is to create a new world order, with them at the helm. Such wild theories, said the Bilderberg Group, are baseless. It actually says this on its own website. While these claims lack any and all merit, we regret to say that many continue to flourish online and in social media groups. The group states that journalists cannot report what goes down in their meetings, and only the attendees on the guest list can go. That means no personal assistants, no husbands or wives, no bodyguards, no Secret Service protectors, and guests should not talk to journalists after the meeting. The reason why things are kept secret, says the group, is to encourage the highest level of openness and dialogue. One man that wrote a book about the Bilderberg Group said as much, stating that these immensely powerful people can say things that they would never dare utter in public. He called the group a shadow world government. It certainly is the most exclusive club the world has ever seen, and it is very secretive. The proof of that is the fact that you know nothing about possibly the biggest event in the world that takes place every year. The acclaimed writer Jon Ronson, who wrote and directed the documentary The Secret Rulers of the World, actually once tried to infiltrate a meeting but was eventually chased out by men wearing dark glasses. He later said in an interview, "When I phoned the British Embassy and asked them to explain to the powerful secret society that had set their goons on me that I was essentially a humorous journalist out of my depth, I wasn't being funny. I was being genuinely desperate." Ronson actually once got to interview Dennis Healy, a man who'd been on the Bilderberg steering committee for 30 years. Healy told him that the guests just state what is on their minds, things perhaps the public might not want to hear. They can speak candidly about various issues and won't get outed in the press for their words. Healy also said this: "To say we're striving for a one-world government is exaggerated, but not wholly unfair." He admitted that it was about control, but control in regard to making the world a better place. It's about global policy, he said, but critics might say that these people are there in part to serve their own interests. That's why some critics will say it's about everything from the people, nothing for the people. They might ask why these powerful people have not fixed pervasive poverty or tackled many other issues that help the man in the street. Is the Bilderberg ethos a kind of enlightened absolutism, meaning we know what's best for you, but it's not something you need to know? When Healy was asked if going to the meetings will help a person's career, he answered, "Your new understanding of the world will certainly help your career." Now we can go back to that word Illuminati, which, remember, means revealed or enlightened. There is no proof that an Illuminati exists, but it would be hard to argue that guests at the Bilderberg meetings aren't revealing secrets and attempting to enlighten others and be enlightened. The Illuminati is a ghoul, a kind of boogeyman, a made-up entity that leads people down endless rabbit holes on the internet. But the Bilderberg Group is very real, and you could say it's a modern iteration of the Bavarian Illuminati. The Bilderberg Group is the Illuminati. How's that for a Scooby-Doo ending? Enlightened is not a bad word, far from it. And we can all be glad for the European Enlightenment and the fact that we no longer kill witches or imprison people for saying the Earth revolves around the sun. But it's the secrecy of the Bilderberg Group that causes all the controversy. If indeed they are only trying to fix the world, then why should these meetings be kept so secret? Surely if the truth they speak is for the common good, we need to hear it. Or do they think the common man, the sheep among the herd, can't handle the truth? These attendees might not want to do nefarious things like depopulate the planet. But you might ask if all those apparently saintly attendees do have self-interest in mind. Maybe one day we'll find out. Now you really have to watch this video, The Origin of Evil, the Devil, or go watch this video.